Good afternoon. I'm doing my final presentation on the importance of being prepared prior, during, and after a natural disaster in South Florida. One thing I want to go over is the importance of being prepared. Something that most people do forget or do not take serious is having the required equipment. Prior to a natural disaster, you will be warned, not 100% of the time, but you will be warned that either a hurricane is en route, flood is imminent, or we have tropical storm coming, anything. So the importance of being prepared is mainly psychological more than it is physical, because once you survive the disaster, the implications of what has happened to you psychologically can have a profound effect on your life, all because you were not prepared. Whether you did not have an exit plan, whether you did not have, enough food, water, medication, uh, you know, ways to get a hold of other people. Here in South Florida, one of the major examples of a natural disaster that we experienced was Hurricane Andrew in 1994. At the time, it was considered one of the, largest or hardest hitting hurricanes that struck the United States. Cost us about $26 billion in damage, wiping out and doing a lot of the damage to South Florida itself. Mainly, a lot of people were not prepared, even with how homes and buildings were constructed. They were not up to standard, causing a lot of the damage and financially hitting the state of Florida because of reasons like that. In South Florida, every community faces similar hazards from flooding to severe thunderstorms and hurricanes. But I do plan to explain, prior mitigation efforts, how to deal with a disaster during its actual actions, and how to handle the after effects. The one thing I do want to get into first is mitigation efforts. When it comes to mitigation, all you're really doing is reducing the severity or the seriousness of the implications of an actual disaster. Mitigation is pretty much damage prevention, cost effectiveness for homeowners and government when it comes to the structure of your home or your actual facility. One thing that homeowners can do is get, hurricane resistant windows. You can get shutters. One important thing about that is the fact that if rain were to get into your home and you do not have the proper equipment to shield all your doors, hurricane proof doors, your garage, and all that, you may think that you actually have the water out, but you really don't. The water may disappear visually from your sight, but it can create mold, and mold can definitely damage your home, weakening your structure, which is something that you do not want. Uh, it has a very bad effect, especially when it comes to flooding. You want to retrofit your pipes to your home, your drainage system, elevating any electrical devices if you are able to, especially if you know you're in a flood known location. So elevating, let's say, any of your exterior air conditioning units, pool pump supplies that you may have out there, your water heater. If you have, or if you are able to actually elevate your washer and dryer, anything electrical, you definitely want to elevate. Equip your drainage system correctly so that way you are able to drain out any water that comes into your home. Also have barriers to stop it. I mean, you can try using a towel or anything, but they do have devices, sandbags. You can go to your local county. Here in Hollywood, we have one pretty much, I think maybe twice a year, where they give out free sandbags, but we have to go to a course so we know how to use them, and how to how to fortify your home when you have the sandbags around your doors and around your garage or around entryways. Um, some things that personnel need to have is canned goods, You also need to have batteries, candles, toilets, plastic bags for toilets. These are ways that will help you, prior to the storm when you have these items available. Try to protect yourself and protect your electric panels. One thing that our cities have done has actually made the towers for the cell phones more stronger, more durable to last through the high winds that go through at these speeds and at that height. So no longer a cellular tower is being knocked over so easily. They fortified those. The electric panels throughout the city have been pretty much encased in like a concrete setting, fortifying them as well, expanding your canals, making drainage in the city even more accessible and more durable. So these are things that you would have to have when it definitely comes to mitigating your home. When it comes to getting through the disaster, your city officials in the beginning will assume the lead role unless it becomes something major or something they cannot control. Then they will ask for the president's help. But in the meantime, local authorities will sound the alarms. We will use media, television, radio, partner with cell phone companies to send out, national texts. Most of them do it anyway without their help. They just know within that area to send out a weather alert. Even on the weather apps that you can download on your phone nowadays, you can get them. There's really no excuse not to be notified of a severe or a natural disaster that's coming en route. Short-term operations, maintain public operations and restore and maintain essential municipal services. That's what our police and our fire rescue will do. Pretty much your basic, your civil employees are just going to maintain order here in our city. If it becomes a long-term situation, our city will ask, or our government will ask for the president to help. He will declare it a major disaster. Once that happens, FEMA will take over, and FEMA has the ability to work with 12 other federal departments. And once that happens, they will respond and mobilize with the necessary equipment to take care of the natural disaster, as far as getting people out, getting people shelter, getting people homes, feeding them, getting them to safety, helping with medical issues. So when you do evacuate, or I'll get to that later, one thing I want to think about is that actually when you're going through a storm, you want to have items such as this, bottles of water, canned goods. These are perishable. You just pop the top and then you just eat it. You're going to need batteries of different sizes because you never know. An operational flashlight and different kinds of candles. You saw a little bit different kinds of candles. Fresh water is a main priority that goes out the window very fast, especially if you're going to be stranded for a long time. So if you don't have a water purification system, one thing you can do is definitely fill your tub up with water, and it should hold you over for a limited time. But another thing you can do is get a trash bag. Toilets will not be flushing; they will not be operational. So you can take this garbage bag, put it inside your toilet, and just use the lid as a seal, and that way you can actually dump out your own waste. It's a way to get through. How to continue after a disaster such as something like that. The community will have to band together. It actually creates more jobs, believe it or not. The demand for supplies. FEMA is going to help us out if it becomes that bad, but you always want to rely on your local mom and pop stores. Let that local revenue flow in to your own city. Employing your own people. It's going to be hectic. People are going to lose jobs. It's not going to be that great of an environment or that great of a time. So you have to learn to lean on each other, and that's what makes everything better. So when it comes to being prepared in South Florida, I honestly hope that prior to a natural disaster happening, you are able to be prepared from a physical standpoint as far as having, your goods available, your medications, your exit plans, ways to get a hold of people during it. If you have to sit here and weather through the storm or whatever the disaster may be, if you were prior prepared, it should make the transition of going through this more easier, less chaotic, and then it'll definitely ease with the psychological impact when it's all said and done. And that concludes my briefing.